Hmm. So, I got trolled for my review of this film over the weekend. Hi, guys, this is Farhad, and welcome back to my channel, Popcorn Reviews. If you're new to this channel, then please smash that subscribe button now. And as a video ritual, remember to like and comment on the video. Liking and commenting helps fuel the YouTube algorithm. And as I said, I had written a review over the weekend, more specifically on Friday, and I got trolled for my review. They called me a paid critic, a samosa critic, none of which is actually true, you know that. And I'll get to it in a minute. But the film that we're going to be discussing is a very special film. A film that is not from, any of the southern states of India. It's not a Malayalam film, it's not a Tamil film, it's not a Telugu film, it's not a Kannada film. The film, surprise, is a Hindi film which is making waves after a while. And it's made almost like 100 crores in 3 days, and nobody expected that before the release. The film that we are going to be discussing is Saiyaara, and this is not specifically a movie review. It's a free flowing chat about what went right with Saiyaara, and why is the film making the numbers that it is, over the weekend, and why did I get trolled? All of that we are going to be discussing in this video, so stay tuned till the end. Firstly, let's get to a very brief review. Saiyaara is essentially, it's just a ashiki coded kind of a film. There are two individuals, more specifically two youngsters, who actually are, falling in love with each other. There is a little conflict between them. It's a very standard kind of a template. For that template to work, what needed was emotions, good direction, good music, and that is exactly what Saiyaara ticks. The check boxes that are there in Saiyaara, it ticks exactly that. It has great music, great direction, and great, feelings that are, created along the way in this standard kind of a template. Now, one of the reasons why this film has also worked is also because of the performances. The performances by the two debutants, Aneet Padda and Ahan Pandey, has been phenomenal. They are outstanding in the film. I had a little issue with Ahan with its dialogue delivery. It's almost a little muffled, when the pitch of his, character has to go up. And I think that he can work on, that was a small flaw that he can always work on in future. Otherwise, his screen presence, his expressions are phenomenal. Aneet Padda is marginally better than him in the film. I think she has also wonderfully conveyed, the range of emotions that she has. So Saiyaara I actually liked, and because of that I got trolled, because nobody was expecting that film to actually work at the box office, especially because Ahan, is also a nepo kid, and everyone was waiting for, to just wrath onto him, all the anger and everything about the opportunities of nepo kids, and how the discussion is. But then, you have to understand, that, why this film has, also worked. And before that, a message to the trollers: if you actually think that my review is paid, or I'm a samosa critic or something, then I really don't know what to say. It doesn't really add up. I have an independent portal. I can so easily, I can actually go into any other publication and write a review. It is absolutely the simplest thing that I can do at this point, given the amount of work that I've done with popcorn reviews. But to actually have an independent portal is something that I decided to go, because I can freely like or criticize a film without any external pressure whatsoever. I am not here to please anybody. If I like the film, I will say I like it. If I don't like it, I will absolutely detest it and say it's a horrible film despite everybody liking it. I don't give two hoots about the majority opinion. But if I like a film, how can I say that, I did not like it? You can't call me a biased reviewer because of that. So what I came to a conclusion also is that this Saiyaara, the film that is there, it's a very Gen Z love story. Okay, the target audience for the film is 18 to 25. So everybody who's not liking the film and who are not in this range, it's okay not to like the film, it's nothing wrong. But the problem is if you're ridiculing the other person for liking the film, I think that is something that you need to take care of, because then you have become a bloody boomer uncle, a boomer auntie, if you are actually falling into this trap. We can always respect each other's opinion, right? We can always say, okay, I'm not agreeing to you, I don't like the film, it's okay, you liked it, that's also okay. You have your own pointers, I have my own pointers. Everything cannot be a PR hype, everything cannot be PR machinery, so if you don't like it, you probably haven't even watched the film and you're actually coming at me. You've got the wrong guy, get that right. Okay, so that is a little rant that I had, which I had to get it off my chest. But then let's focus on the reasons why Saiyaara worked. One of the reasons, as per me, and all opinions are mine, this is again not a paid promotion or PR activity. All opinions are mine. You're free to disagree with it as well. One of the reasons why Saiyaara actually has worked is because of its marketing strategy. What is the YRF marketing strategy of this film? It was simple: keep the youngsters, the first timers, away from the media. So none of us, got to interact with the lead pair, Aneet Patta and Ahan Pandey. They were literally kept off the marketing material. Only one who was heading the marketing was the director, Mohit Suri. And it was a strategized move, to actually focus only on the content and not make any buzz about the youngsters. What happens is that if youngsters are actually put in front of the media, anything that they say unintentionally is cut into a reel. That is something that happened in the film Lavyapa, which starred Junaid Khan and Khushi Kapoor. That film was again a very average film. It's not to do with the content, but the pre-release that was there was that the two star kids were actually trolled left, right, and center for their awkward media interactions. I think, and in that regard, I think YRF did a wonderful job, in keeping these two youngsters away from it. Another thing that worked, I think, was the demographic of this film. If you don't like the film, yes, you are not the demographic of the film, I would say. It's the 18 to 25 age group that the film is made for, and it has found patronage in that age group for sure. If these youngsters, these Gen Zs are actually, brought up on these reels which are of heartbreak, the reels of, which is played against the background of sad music that is being played in the reel itself. So they associate with this kind of thing. But to actually ridicule them and say this is nippa nippy, I think is extremely dismissive of people who've not liked the film. Okay. If you've not liked the film, you can always concede by saying that this is not for my taste, because you are not the demographic of the film. 10 years back, there was a film that was out called Ashiki 2. Why did that work? Why did you like the film? It was the same template. It was the same template and you actually loved it. Why did you like it? Reflect on it. You liked it because you were the demographic at that point. You were the demographic, it was made for you, it spoke in a language that you understood, you found it relatable by then, and hence you actually, patronized it in a way, with the songs. Of course, that was again a better film in my opinion as well. But to dismiss this film is something that I am not in favor of. I like the film as well. I'm not a part of the demographic as well. I'm not a 25-year-old anymore, but I still love the film. And it also says that maybe there are other demographics that have opened up over the course of the weekend, in which the family audience is also slowly pouring in, which reflects in the numbers. You cannot just do 100 crores based on one particular demographic, but the aim was of that demographic. You can't ignore that the aim, it was targeted at that. And then everyone was astonished by the absolute paramount kind of insurgence in the collection that happened in Saiyaara. Third reason for that is the casting. You cannot have 50-year-olds romancing a 25-year-old in a film like this. You need a young pair. And if you remember in my review of Kap Kapi, which I had compared it to Romancham, and oh boy, that was such a ridiculous film. And I had said there that, the focus should be on every aspect of it, right from making something original. Now you can argue that this is somewhat related to a moment to remember, a Korean film. I had said, originals must be encouraged, but this has similar themes of it. It's not an official adaptation or a remake of that. It's not, because I've watched that film. Yes, some situations might be recreated similarly, but the demographic is very different. That was of an intense married couple love story which was there. This is of a Gen Z couple, of the first love, that actually takes place before the conflict sets in. I'll not reveal what the conflict is for people who've already watched it. I think that was an important part of it, that it resonated with that. And why did it resonate? Because there was no reference of the film in the recent years. Hindi films have stopped making romantic films, which was their bread and butter once upon a time. Any 90s film you pick which has been a blockbuster, Dilwale Dulhaniya Le Jayenge, Kuch Hota Hai, Dil To Pagal Hai. Why did these films work? If I look back, Kuch Hota Hai is pure cringe, but why did I endorse it then? Because it was, it had its heart in its right place. The filmmaking by Karan Johar was committed to the subject material that went beyond the logic. You don't want logic to come into the picture, which is okay, but the emotions should land, na? So when the emotions do land via the music, which is fabulous, which I'll come to in a minute, or any other way, I think it actually, this is what, the audiences crave for. If the emotions land, the film is going to make a mark, irrespective of how, pre-release buzzes or anything of that sort. Even if it's low, it will pick up with the word of mouth. In this case, some people term it like a PR activity. Even if it is, the ground reality remains that people are coming to the theaters and you are the jokers in the back, okay? You don't need to spread negativity with your, silly little comments that are there about the fate of the film, or how, you are surprised by that. Which then brings me, to the genre also. Romantic films, which is the last romantic film that I watched and I really liked from the Hindi film industry. Nothing really comes to mind, nothing immediately comes to mind. There are films, in the early 2010s like Rockstar, to an extent Tamasha. I think Tamasha was not a pure romantic film. There was Leila Majnu, but that didn't do well at the box office as well. It's been a while. It's been a while since a good romantic film has come out. Yes, Metro in Dino, I'm just going to keep it on the side because that was in a mix of demographics which was there, not a particular demographic. That was again a wonderful film, by the way, in the romantic genre. But when was the last time that a memorable romantic film was being made? I think Ashiki 2. That was in 2013 probably. Rockstar was in 2011. And there have been little attempts, but futile ones, I would say, in the form of Half Girlfriend, little moderate ones in the form of Hamari Adhuri Kahani and stuff, but nothing really comes to mind. And this genre was abandoned by Bollywood for a very long time, citing that people are just not interested. Now, who's making these decisions? I have no idea, but it took a production house like YRF to actually, back this film and back it to the hilt and say that, okay, we are going to cast new actors. This is this is the strategy that we are going to use, and this is the romantic film. We are going against the tide, in which action and thrillers are selling. We are going against the tide, and let's back this film. And as it turned out, it's the most unexpected hit that YRF has had in years outside the spy universe. Outside the spy universe is what I'm saying, and I think that speaks volumes of it. Another aspect is, when I said casting, you really need young actors in the Hindi film industry as well. There's no one really who would actually, look forward to in the age group of 18 to 30, you can say, roughly. Everyone else, Kartik Aaryan, Tripti Dimri, on the other side of 30. And the ones that are not, haven't really proved themselves. This is one criticism that I had said. Now, imagine YRF backing these two young talents who are probably in their early 20s, and they are actually, hitting it out of the park in the first film itself. It says a lot about what everything was wrong in the industry and what this one film has reflected in, you actually were also, as far as the music is concerned, you were relying on the remixes that were there, remixes of songs, instead of creating something original. That actually says a lot, when you hear the album of Saiyaara, which every song stands out. I'm not even joking. Every song stands out. I have been listening to the whole album on loop over the weekend until now. I've been humming the songs. I can't remember the last time I've done this. Again with Metro in I had done it to an extent, but this is again a step ahead of that. Especially after how the film turned out to be as well. And that says a lot, about everything that went right in making this film. Everything that made sense was ticked in this film, which hardly then should come as a surprise that this film has become a rage. Yes, the reactions are, some of them are outrageous. I would have to put that out there. People fainting and people, yeah, crying is okay, I did that too, but fainting and doing all sorts of antiques, I think that is a bit of a stretch, I must admit that as well. But other than that, I feel that there was a lot that went right with Saiyaara, and that is why it's on the cusp of making history. It's already the highest grossing film for debutants as far as the Hindi film industry is concerned. And it should be like a wake up call. What it does is also that the next Hindi film that was to be out on the 25th, Son of Sardar 2, which is an IP, by the way, it's an IP, it's been renewed for the second part. That stars Ajay Devgan, which is already an established star, who doesn't want to take on the wave of Saiyaara. He has pushed that film further 1 week, only to clash with Dhadak 2, which is on 1st of August. So the entire 2 week window is what Saiyaara gets out of nowhere. There was another film called Nikita Roy, starring Sonakshi Sinha, another established star, that was out. Its release again was postponed from end of June to this weekend, in which the thought may have been, oh, it's a newcomer's film, who's going to watch it anyway? Guess what? The tables turned, and how. Nobody is asking for that film. Nobody is asking for the Anupam Kher film, Tanvi the Great, which is again a very flat kind of a film. I have watched it, I didn't like it. And Saiyaara has stood out. It is also, you have to understand, it is bearing also the competition from Hollywood biggies like Superman, like Jurassic Park, who have been doing phenomenal business. There's another Hollywood biggie coming in the form of Fantastic Four next week. But I think that is also going to be, impacted because of the Saiyaara wave. And it just says that if the content resonates, all you need is emotions. Even if the logic isn't there, the emotions are there, it will resonate. You need good music, accurate casting, the emotions to just hit you consistently despite a simplistic plot. The plot wasn't great. Plot wasn't great, isn't not very complex. It was very straightforward. But the emotions hit you so well during the making of the film, during the course of the film, I would say, that Saiyaara deserves all the love. And once again, for the trollers, you really need to have a life. You guys are boomers now, okay? So you can just keep quiet. If you don't like the film, I'm fine with it. But if you actually ridicule the other person for liking the film, then you are in the minority, and the joke is actually on you, okay? So that is it. That's my thoughts on the film, on why did the film work, along with a small review of it. My detailed review is present on my site, Popcorn Reviews with the double S, the link of which is in the description box below. Do visit that as well. It's a beautiful film. I don't know whether it's released in Kerala. It must be released in Kerala or Telangana or Chennai or Bangalore. I'm sure they must be released, but I don't know the responses from that part of the country. So I think you need to tell me, how was the film received? Did you like it? Did you not like it? I know most of you may not have actually watched it, or heard of it. I don't know what the situation is, because I don't do too many Hindi reviews on this YouTube channel. But I thought this was important, that if you are celebrating good cinema, then it should actually spread to all languages. And if Hindi it is, then it is Hindi. And it's been a while since a rage has come in the form of a Hindi film. Yes, there have been successes like Sitare, which was also a film that I really liked. There was a film called Raid 2, which I didn't like but did well. But this was this one film that nobody expected to do well, and that is why it makes Saiyaara special, and that is why I thought I'll make a video. So if you're liking this, remember to smash that like button, or you can dislike the video. If I have offended anyone, I'm sorry. Also comment on the video whatever your thoughts are on the film, and you can follow me on different social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Letterboxd. I do not end up making a video on everything that I write, but I do, you know everything that I write, but I write a lot. All information is present on my site and on my social media handles. All the latest reviews of every film you will find on my site, Popcorn Reviews with a double S. I'll request your support there as well. I'll see you again soon with another video. Till then, take care of yourselves, and thank you so much for your love and support. Cheers.